It's basically just a little bit of just, hey, I wanted to do some stuff, so I gotta get. I've made mods that you've never heard of. Someone did say cringe mods, and I agree. I use she, her pronouns. Yeah, okay. So what is this talk? This talk serves to help people who wouldn't normally think about game design. Think about game design. An introduction point, if you will. What this talk isn't. This is not a game design tutorial. You'll develop your own design philosophies and style as you keep developing things. Not a tutorial. And it's also supposed to be applicable, so hopefully you're able to apply this talk outside of the modding ecosystem. And if you like it, feel free to share it around with people outside of the ecosystem. This talk is more so centered around newer game designers. Of course, people who would know all of this information can listen in, but they aren't necessarily the target audience here. Feel free to provide feedback for the talk at the end. I'd appreciate it. Last year's BlanketCon had mostly topics that were more so suited to more experienced modders, so I hoped to bring some more diversity within the prerequisite knowledge required for a talk to make sense to you. Okay, the big question. What is game design? It's cringe. Okay, that was off script. It's not cringe. Game design is a process where we create rules and systems for a player to engage with. For example, everything operating in a cubic meters in Minecraft is a game design rule. So what is the goal of game design? The goal is to engage the player. Generally, generally you try to give the player an enjoyable experience. However, it doesn't have to be this. Like, you're more so looking for whether the player is engaging in a certain way. Game design is suggestive. No, not suggestive. Oh my god. Game design is subjective. There is no objective good game design. As the experience varies to person. And hence why I said it's not a tutorial. Quote from Masahiro Sakurai is like, oh, if you can't discern taste, you shouldn't be a chef. Yeah, this is, just like, yeah, you have taste. You have your own opinions on game design. Now, how do you think like a game designer? Generally, when considering any content for a mod, you want to think on whether that thing contributes to the goal you're aiming for with that specific feature, and the goal for the entire mod. So let's get into an example mod. Let's take a basic example to get you all thinking. Let's say you're making a weaponry mod where the design goal is to introduce more variety within Minecraft's weaponry. For your first weapon, you're making a melee weapon that is more so suited for being up close to the target. There are two terms that I use to describe different elements of content that I'll present in this talk: mechanics and thematics. You can design with either one in mind first, but for the sake of this presentation, it would be easier to introduce thematics first, as it's the easier of the two to grasp. Thematics is how your content is presented to the player. So, for our weapon, we may decide that a mace is fitting for this new weapon, as they shouldn't come with a lot of range. Now, mechanics. Mechanics are how your bit of content functions. Let's say that this mace has an enhanced critical hit, but the cost of having less attack range. So, thematics and mechanics cooperate. Think of them as like a yin and yang. They come together, and you're supposed to have a good like balance between them. It's okay if one try to get both to work with each other. It's okay if one overshadows the other slightly, but try to aim for a healthy amount of Oh, sorry. Have you not got your voice connected to Phonos, or is the headset just not working for me? Can anyone else confirm?
I can hear you just fine.
Yeah, it's working just fine.
Cool. So it's okay if one slightly overshadows the other in this department, but just get a good balance between the two, because like what you don't want is like something to, because like the best type of content is when the thematics and mechanics come together to make something that's amazing. Like, yeah. So let's talk about flavor. I'm also briefly mentioning flavor because this is because flavor is where it's content that's not vital to the experience. This can be thematics or mechanics. So like it can be like lore text. Can be like lore text, for example. You might, and you don't want it to you don't want to make sure that it takes away, you want to make sure that flavor does not actively take away from the goal if you include it. For example, you might conclude that applying knockback to a target with this mace is not a good fit for the weapon, because the weapon focuses on being up close to your enemies. However, something like, for example, being able to bash melons and pumpkins would not hurt this goal. So ultimately, why do I bring up flavor? Mainly just because like it's something that I should bring up, because this is a good thing that's like for non-essential mechanics and thematics. This experience flavor can help, but don't do too much of it. This experience is ultimately up to you, and it will be different for each individual project of yours. Which is my segue into the next topic. Design goals. These are the objectives of your project. So it's like I briefly mentioned them in the previous section, but they're really a broad topic that I think deserve their own section. Design goals are the objectives of your content that you're designing for. To reiterate a design goal from the previous section, introducing more weaponry to Minecraft. You can have multiple, just make sure that they don't conflict. Design guidelines. They're the rules of your project. Like let's say you don't want enchantments to be just quality of life features that you can download a separate mod for. Or range weapons do not have tiers, and they instead use enchantments to make them differ. And different mechanics. You're always free to mend the rules if they don't work though. So, rules are not final when it comes to the game, guidelines, which also is the next slide. Goals and guidelines can be changed over time. Yeah, design goals can absolutely change over time, and you can even fail to achieve them. I'd like to mention Britannia's original goal of trying to be like Voxel Sniper in survival. But that wasn't achieved, so it became something else. The mod can follow either a new goal, or you can rework/overhaul it. Reworking and overhauling content is out of scope for this talk, but There is a difference between the two. Scrapping content. You'll do this a lot, trust me. As a game designer, you will need to be able to scrap certain ideas that don't work out in practice. Referring to the example I stated in Thinking Like a Game Designer section, the knockback on the melee-focused sword would be considered a scrapped concept. What was Britannia's original goal? It was supposed to be like voxel sniper, accessible in survival. From what I know. This might be wrong. Please correct me if I am wrong, but I do remember something mentioning that. So, don't grow too attached to your concepts. The takeaway of this topic is to not grow too attached to your concepts. Game designers scrap concepts all the time. It can be painful to scrap a concept that you grow attached to, but if it's for the greater good of the project, just do it. Now, design differences. Wow, opinions. Design differences are when two people have different opinions on how something should be designed. Design differences are a natural part of game design, whether it's within your friend group or with another modder who's less close. A lot of projects are born from design differences. They are not a bad thing to have. Over half of my mods were born from design differences. Okay, so the key to design differences is identifying them. You will learn when and when not to listen to others' feedback. It's your mod, it's your decision. Make sure to talk to others while game designing though. It's always good to have another person's perspective on things that you have made. Like, talking to others is something that I'm going to go into just a bit longer. Go off script here. It's very important that you talk to others during game design, because like you can sort of just get caught up in a little bubble, but like, how do you know if like that is like a good feature? Someone else might have to have their say, someone less biased towards your own work. So I'd really recommend talking to others about game design. Like, I'm also going to shout out Lua here. I'm going to shout out Lua. They pretty much helped me a lot. Thanks, Lua. Managing yourself. This is a section that might also apply to like more, so this is a section that might apply to everyone, really. Like, if you're not managing yourself during game design, you're going to burn out. Not good. You don't want to burn out. So, it might be overwhelming to you to, if you look at the big picture. So, here's some advice on the, yeah, remember game studios and crunch. Don't be AAA game studios. Self-care should always come first over hobbyist game design. Game design is a process, so you're best to pace yourself as problems may arise one day with a solution found another day. Try not to force yourself to do things that you just can't. As with all projects, you should not have the expectations that a first product will be out extremely quickly. You'll be doomed for failure. AAA studios. Ladies and gentlemen, and thems. I'm sorry. Yeah. Additionally, don't beat yourself up over the mistakes throughout your time as a game designer. Hey, we make mistakes. Now, start small. I cannot stress this enough if you're getting into game design. Work up to big projects. Say you want to make a new dimension? Cool. But that's a huge undertaking for a new designer. You're best to start small and then go large. It'll save you a lot of frustration while trying to learn. Now, Watch out for scope creep. Please keep scope creep in mind. This is where you keep adding new things to your project to do, so it never gets finished. You might have a lot of cool concepts that you want to put into a single project, but you should make sure that you don't end up biting off more than you can chew. As said previously, knowing what to scrap is important. I even made a Saturday morning cartoon villain. The scope creep goblin. Drawing this scope creep goblin was out of scope. I don't know why I did it. Okay, thanks for listening, everyone. That was all I have for today. I'm gonna get back to playing not Animal Crossing, but old school RuneScape. Yeah. If you want to hear more from me though, I'm planning to upload to a YouTube channel that you can subscribe to at Merchant Pug. I'll be uploading Minecraft modding game design focused videos there, so feel free to check it out. I'll most likely be uploading somebody else's recording of this presentation there. Please send me your recordings of the presentation and check the description if you're watching it, because you'll get to see who actually made the recording. I'd also like to give some credits to Lua.exe, Seducer of Trees, also he's in the crowd, Victor3210, and Silent, who is another one of my friends who I don't think is here. Also Spider Colo, because he's always right. Now, any questions? Hi, from Anonymous. Thank you. Hi, Among Us, from Anonymous. That's a good question as well. I am ill-equipped to answer it. How do you ask a question? Drop the book on the conveyor. Drop a written book on a conveyor belt.
I don't think it has to be written.
Oh, it doesn't have to be written. Okay, I'm unsure. So, is Scope Creeper fruity? These are some good questions. How do you keep up motivation while working on large projects? This is a good question. I guess just take your time with them. Talk to them about your friends. Talk to it with your friends. If you have someone interested, you're more likely to be able to get it done. And like, ask people for feedback. Like, this is at least what I do. Like, yeah, rubber duck it. Yeah, like, rubber duck it when you get stuck in design hell. Yeah. Do you have any projects that you are proud of? I'm pretty proud of Bovines and Buttercups. That's going to have to go through a rewrite though, because I am unhappy with the state of it in terms of code. I love what I did with it, but it's just that it's like kind of poorly written at the moment. So I also like the Too Many Origins rework, because like that actually turns some of my worst work into something that I really love. To be fair, I was starting out with Too Many Origins, so it's like, yeah. Another mod that I want to mention here is a future enchantment overhaul called Enchiridion. You'll have to wait and see for that one. That is basically going to be an enchantment overhaul that focuses on like having more diversity within the enchantments that you select and synergy, which it's like, yeah, we're focusing on just making the enchanting experience quite good, enchanting and enchantments. So yeah, that's what I'm proud of. What are your favorite mods to play / use? I'm gonna mention Origins. Like that is one that introduced me to modding, and I haven't like gone off Origins. Apace did a very good job with the mod. Some of the custom content's questionable, but that's always the case when you have a lot of custom content. Do you think it's better to try and rework an old idea or create a new idea from scratch? From Stony Hoove. That's a good question. It really depends. Like, do you like the old idea enough? Do you like the old idea enough to warrant continuing work on it under like a new rework that might do you like the old idea enough? Really, it's just sunk cost really, you got to keep in mind sunk cost fallacy and like stuff like that. So, like, is it worth it? Is it worth starting a new idea or reworking an old idea? That's up to you, not up to me. What if? Okay, that's a repeat. Other than Origins, in terms of things that I like and mods that I like, I found that I really like Promenade. Which I figured out Promenade here was really good. Like, I love Promenade. Looking at it, it looks really nice. Love the capybaras. Please visit that booth if you want. I don't actually play a lot of mods, but those are my recommendations. Origins and Promenade. I'm more of a light modder. I'm more of like a light pack person with focus. Like, kitchen sinks do not sit well with me. I just need more substance. And also, it's like, I cannot really, and like, I also can't really get into, I don't really get into mods with like really sort of like specific mechanics. Like let's say Create. Create's very popular. I would recommend it if you're interested in it, but I am not really the target audience of Create, so I can't really say much. But I would absolutely recommend Create if like you're interested in that part of Minecraft. I did not even show the questions. My bad. Do you think Scope Creeper is single? Yes, I think so. I don't think anybody would. That's such a good question. Thank you. Thank you for asking this. Is mod pack design a kind of game design? Absolutely. I absolutely agree. Like, mod pack design is game design. I would say so. If like you're going into specifics with the mod pack, totally. Like, that is game design. Like, if you're gonna like make, yeah, absolutely. I've already answered this one. How do you know personally preventing feature creep? I know you said that scrapping stuff is part of it, but how do you do it? This is a good question as well. Simply put, I would say that you just like make sure that you know your limitations with your project, and make sure you know your limitations, what you want to do. Don't come up with a million features at the same time. Part of it is like just knowing when to stop, I think. Like, part of it is knowing when to stop. So it's like sometimes you might be like, oh yeah, this is the mod. This is all I'm going to add. And that is what I'd recommend. Just know when to stop adding features. Otherwise you'll run into scope creep. How much do you recommend planning out your game design before writing it? How detailed / extensive is it? I personally go very detailed. Like there's of course some things where it's like you don't want to where you don't want to write it out. This is like specific numbers. Like I never write out balance when planning game design because you need to actively play to understand that. And yeah, so pretty much the goal is to like pretty much what you want is pretty much just do what's right for you. Do what's right for you. Yeah, just do what's right for you. Like some people will like to go in immediately, whereas others like me will plan basically entire swaths of content at a time before starting. As a great person once said, anyone can cook, even a rat. Is this also true for game design creation / mod creation? Totally. I think so. I think make what you want at the end of the day. Make what you want at the end of the day, and it's like it's a learning process. So like just like cooking, you'll learn. You will learn. Like if a rat can cook, it's like, I mean, a rat can cook, but like yeah. Do you have any thoughts on ChatGPT and game design? I'm not equipped to answer this. I feel like, personally, if you were to ask me, I think that a person is going to produce better results than ChatGPT. Mainly because there's actual, like, soul on a person. So do not do ChatGPT. You're better off making it on your actual opinions. How many subscribers do you think you'll get? The majority of subscribers I think I'll get over time is will be from actually uploading. I'm not getting a mill. I'm not getting the golden play button. I'm not getting more subscribers than Markiplier. Not with that attitude. Okay, maybe I will have more subs than Markiplier one day, but make your own golden play button. Sure. 1 more billion. Thank you. I think that I'll probably get like around. I'd be happy with around like. I'd be happy with like 10. Honestly, I'd be happy with 10. Like if I can get more than 10 or less than 10, that's cool. But 10 is like sort of something that I would appreciate. But if I don't believe that I can succeed, it'll be harder to do so. Totally. I think that like I think that it's going to be like mostly my other uploads that will get me to have more subscribers because I want to upload more. I will be uploading content there. And yeah. What are your opinions on Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? I do not know anything about Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I'm sorry. How do you approach a mod or project that has been thematically made before without feeling like a copy? Oh, I forgot a mod that I actually would recommend. Aurora's Decorations. One of my favorite mods. Love Aurora's Decorations. Yeah? Yeah, I think that but speaking of Aurora's Decorations, I think that this is a perfect mod that can show you how to do that. Because Aurora's Decorations was very much features that existed in other mods, like supplementaries, but it's like Aurora put her own spin on it, which is the key component of making a mod that's thematically made before. Put your own spin on it. Different people will make different things, and there's a lot of effort. There's a lot of like cool things about you can put a lot of cool things into your mod if you're 42. Yeah, that's the number of life. That's a number of life. That's all I know about Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Do you think that Minecraft modding is a good environment to learn mod development? Learn game design or mod development? Could you please elaborate? If it's a good design, I think it's a good environment to I think it's a good environment to learn game design. Like, I would recommend just finding something that you're very interested in making, and yeah, you know what? I literally started game design with Minecraft, with specifically Origins, and like that has helped me a lot figuring out what I personally like and seeing in game design, and it's like, yeah, you can see you can visit the mall if you want to see too many Origins, but no plugs. No plugs. We aren't about plugging. Yeah. How do you deal with feature removal and potential upset players? Simply put, you can't please everyone. There will be someone who is upset about a feature removal. In my opinion, do it if you want to. Feature remove if you want to. So, if it's your mod, don't let other people dictate it for you. Like as Seducer once said, or Victor in game, as he once said, I had a scrapped feature for Dragonborn that I actually kind of liked, but then I realized that it wasn't adding anything on top of that. Dragonborn in Too Many Origins rework. I had a scrapped feature there, which was breathsmithing, where you could like apply buffs to like your mining and your weapons, which it's like we sort of scrapped it. We sort of ended up scrapping it, as Seducer said. What's the point of the feature? And that got me thinking. Yeah, I was a bit like, oh, but what if people are upset that such a feature is not here? Because it was a sick concept, but like, you know, sometimes it's just better. Again, with scrapping concepts. Yeah, just do it. Do it. If someone complains, don't bow down to them. Unless you really think that it's better. Don't listen to everyone. This is specifically in the design differences section. Don't listen to everyone. 42. Yeah, that's so cool. What is the story behind my username? Is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy... I don't know anything about Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I'm sorry. Okay, so Pug was a username that I came up with when I was like 12. The Pug has always stayed when I'm 20 now, but the Pug has consistently stayed for 8 years. The Merchant came from me really liking a character in Octopath Traveler. It was like, I loved the concept, but I just cannot play Octopath Traveler for the life of me. I could not get into it, but I still really liked Tressa from Octopath. So that's how it is. Pug, there's more in that book. Like 2 pages worth. Wait, there's more? What are the other questions? I can't actually see them. Whoop. Ah. Shit. Okay, you can hear me?
We can still hear you, I think, so...
Yeah, we can
Thank
hear
you.
but
That's
okay.
interesting.
Like
So, when is
unoriginality
unhelpful in when is originality unhelpful in game design? I think it's when you're trying too hard. Sometimes you can go for obvious features that would work out better. But if you're trying to be original all the time, it can be unhelpful. Because sometimes you might want to go with a very simple feature that might be similar to something you've seen before. Like, I'm just gonna say this, let's say Enchiridion as another example. We were like, oh, I want an axe enchantment that specifically has like ice, that's specifically related to ice. With that, it's like, Mike, I ultimately settled with a very simple solution for that. And, you know? I think it worked out. So you don't have to make everything super original. Sometimes it can hurt. It's when there's an obvious solution that might work, but that would work better than your entirely original solution, which is when it would be unhelpful. What is scope creepers at? Asking for a friend. I do not have scope creeper friended. They blocked me. Server crash, so I unfortunately cannot answer any more questions. We have a lot more time, but you know what? I'm gonna answer more questions. DM me on Discord at merchantpug. Please DM me your questions because I'm going to my DMs are open in the Modfest server. So yeah, just DM me your questions. So I'm gonna stretch out this, despite a server crash. Do you like foxes and boxes? Yes, I do. They are cool. There is no TPS in Ba Sing Se. That is true.
Timeless joke.
Plug Jeb's book. You know the one. You know what? I'll plug the game design book. It's actually located in Stockholm in the national in a library that you can basically like go and visit to read it. Which it's like the reason why it's there is because the Swedish library wanted some archives, wanted more diversity with what they archived. So yeah, Jeb's game design book is there. And I do want to go visit it one day. Like that sounds cool. I'll probably also meet up with Sedusa when I get over there because like that also sounds fun visiting your friends. What are my favorite games besides Minecraft? That's a good question, Ultras. As I've said before, I've been playing a lot of old school RuneScape. I burnt out for 3 years straight. But I got back into it recently on a fresh account, and I've been enjoying it a lot. It's like number go up serotonin. That's basically the entire experience. It's also like very like hands off, so you can literally do it in the background of other things. What other games do I like though? I do like Celeste. I like Pizza Tower. Pizza Tower is pretty good. Platformers are nice. Pizza Tower is a good game. Play it. I've P-ranked everything except the final boss, and I don't know when I'm gonna do that because I'm lazy. Does lore help or hinder good game design? It really depends on how you go about it. Like, lore can help. That is thematics. So say like, that is part of thematics, lore. But like, I'm gonna wait for everybody. I'm gonna get a drink of water real quick. Hopefully people will be back when I get a drink of water. Gay, gay, homosexual, gay. Yes, true.
Among Us.
Sus.
Yippee!
Hello, everybody. I am back.
Hi, back. I'm Vix.
I'm gonna wait for the person recording to come back. Yes, you can submit questions now. Okay. That was done. What is... Okay. What is your opinion on Homestuck? I don't think anything of it. I know about it, but I don't think anything of it. Yes, Carkalicious. That is all I know about Homestuck. That one thing. That one Broadway Car Cat. Broadway Car Cat is the best part of Homestuck. Oh? I'm not on mic anymore? What happened? Okay, done. I re-equipped. You good?
No, it doesn't. Can you do it again?
Okay, I re-equipped. Let me just, let me try again. Here we go. Everyone can hear me? Can everyone hear me? Okay, cool.
I mean, like, it's not working, but whatever.
Yeah, okay, sure. So, how often do people start small in game design? I think that it's important that you do this. Because, like, starting big is just going to cause a lot of issues on the path down your path later. Like, I think that one example that I would like to give is, like, Omori. Omori turned out pretty good, but it's, like, also just... It took a very long time to make because it was made by an inexperienced person trying to do something big. So, I really would say... But that's not the question. How many people start small? I think that a lot of people do. And that's a very important thing to do. You say start small, but how often do new devs do that? I don't have a good representation of new devs. New devs do start. There are some new devs that start quite big, and like things usually end up going unfinished. And it's like the Omori example. Yeah, that did get finished, but it took longer because it was a large project made by an inexperienced dev. So how's latest Toho integer work? Toho is amazing. I like Toho, I guess. I like Toho. Not a question for me. Average trans girl Toho fan. Yeah, that's true. Thoughts on the gays. They are based. No matter what anyone says, the gays are cool. I'm the gays.
Hell yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
I like women and I'm trans, so, you know, I like women as a women. That's cool. Lesbians are based. In a fight, who would win? Vriska Homestuck or Sans Undertale? No clue. Probably Vriska. I don't know. I don't know, but like Sans does have that. I don't know. We're not arguing this. I don't know. I don't know enough about Vriska Homestuck to say so. Thoughts on fishing and its mechanics? I know exactly who asked this. The person who asked this actually made me very appreciative of fishing in Minecraft. I think that fishing does not really need much because like I think it's a good thing that it's not like I think it's a good thing that it's side content. But I think that fishing is in a pretty good spot in Minecraft right now. If you were to ask me. It doesn't need to be meta. That's all I'm saying. Has any one person in the history of the universe started small in regards to game design? I guess I haven't. Like, I was like with game design, it was like only my recent attempt where I started small. And like, that was when I really got into it. Beforehand, when I was like 14, just trying to make a game, it was like, I did not know what I was doing. As all 14-year-olds don't know what they're doing. Yeah. As someone who tried to develop games, I did not start small and it ended up in me stopping a billion projects.
Mood.
Yeah. If you always keep adding more stuff, then relatively speaking, you always start small. Okay, buddy. Okay. I accidentally got rid of a genuine question. This question is, do you think the game design of Elden Ring can be applied to Minecraft in terms of difficulty? I would say they're two different. If you were to ask me, I kind of don't. Like, it depends. Like, if you're modding, sure, but I don't think it should be vanilla. I wouldn't agree with this in vanilla, but if you're modding, absolutely. Like that, like you can take what you want from other games, and it's like, you can take what you want from other games, and you can apply them to Minecraft if you're like making mods. That's cool. I'll ask one question. I'll answer one question that I got given. So, when making mods, do you have to be familiar with the game design philosophies used by the game? When is it okay to deviate from these, if ever? Game design philosophies used by the game, they are just they should not be, like, thing is, I believe that creators should be able to have freedom over their concepts, but like, if you want to go close to vanilla, and if you don't want to, that's good too. Like let's take immersive weathering, for example. That's a mod that I will bring up for a mod that actively avoided a Minecraft game design philosophy. You can do that too. So when is it okay to deviate from these? If you know what you're doing, and also just like, if you're explicitly knowing what you're doing, sure, it's good to deviate. How did you learn and develop your skills? It takes practice. It takes practice. But yeah, it just takes practice, and it's like it takes time. Just keep making things is my suggestion. Keep making things. Anyways, here's a question from Xander. What are some tips keeping yourself motivated to continue working on your own mods, especially when the ideas flow so much faster than you can implement them? Good question. It's like really, I'm only just burning out now, and like I've only taken very small breaks compared to like other people. But like, I guess the best thing would be to like, as I said before, talk to others about it. Talk to others about it. If someone else is interested, that might be the motivation you need. And it's like also, like the thing that I like personally is like seeing people experience my work, and also what I like, and also like what I like to see too. Like, yeah. Should you prioritize your own vision for the game or your community's vision for the game? Or does it depend? I think that like it really depends on like, yeah, hi Xander stuff. Yeah, so it really depends. I think like sometimes the community might know pretty good, but like the thing is like you're always the final judge. I think that you should probably go off your own tuition rather than the community's tuition. I'll bring up like old school RuneScape as an example of like the community's tuition being the thing that decides things. Like it just doesn't quite, it like old school RuneScape polling system had to go through a lot of changes to get where it is now, and like people would just vote no initially because they did not want the game to change at all. But then when people started voting yes, the player base did, when people like started to go like, oh, what do you want to see in the game out of these options? It started getting updates. And then like we're back to yes or no polling. Sailing just passed, which is like, that's cool. Yeah, like RuneScape's one of the examples where it's like very community driven, but you really don't have to be community driven if you don't want to. Sans Undertale, yeah, if community vision reduces your passion and style of vision, it's not worth it. I agree. Sans Undertale. Papyrus Undertale. Favorite Minecrafter of all time. I don't know, I guess Grian's pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
Let me just skip the shitpost questions. Have I ever played Earthbound? Yes, I have. I love Earthbound. Like this was an autistic hyperfixation of mine a while back. I did not beat it because I just sort of grinded too many levels to get the king sort of kings, and it sort of ruined my playthrough. But yeah, Earthbound is good. Do you like cats? Yes, despite being named Pug, I'm a cat person. I want to get a cat when my sister moves out, and then her bunny will move out with her, which the bunny's scared of cats and might die of a heart attack upon seeing a cat. So we can't get a cat, which is sad.
Rip.
Thoughts on the new villager librarian mechanics? Honestly, villagers are what killed my will to play the game previously. If you want my full opinion, I think that it's a good start. I would like to see other things be improved with the enchanting table and treasure loot, which I made an entire suggestion on it. I made an entire suggestion just saying, oh yeah, make treasure loot feel more logical and like biome and like have actual logic to it instead of just like being like, hey, here's a treasure that you can find basically anywhere in the game, like most enchantments are. I think that would be a good change. What are your thoughts on Mojang's design philosophy? I generally love what Mojang's doing. I think that they've done a tremendous job with like certain things in the game. Others not as great, but I still think that like the new updates are like very nice. Yeah. How do you handle bad feedback? When I started out, I would listen. Yeah. Starting out when I would listen to others, starting out when I listened to others, I would usually listen to others, but like when I sort of grew my own confidence, I stopped listening to certain feedback. But how do I handle bad feedback? Just tell them a reason why. And if they continue, you can always like push. You can always like push. If they get angry at you for that, a ban button is a good tool. No, don't ban everyone who disagrees with you. If they're respectful about it, don't. But yeah. How much do you hate Gradle? I would strangle that fucking elephant. I would genuinely strangle that fucking elephant. Fuck that elephant. Have you ever played any Earthbound ROM hacks or Mother Free? I played Mother Free when I was a lot younger, but I did not finish it. I sort of stopped at the ocean section because my phone died. Because I was playing it on my emulator. I was playing it on emulator on my phone, but which also had lag, so I couldn't do combos. But Mother Free is good. Mother Free is great. Love it. Haven't played any Earthbound ROM hacks though. I'd have to look into that. Any inspiration or role models that have impacted how you game design? Lua! Hi Lua. Also, I would say that Apace is another person who definitely impacted me with game design. Like I love the approach with Origins where it was like integrating into vanilla mechanics over making things that are completely new. Like I think that it's a very good design philosophy for a mod like Origins, and that's where I would say that that's one of the reasons I love Origins and have stuck for it for like 2 years. We got... So yeah, Lua has pretty much kickstarted me into thinking like a game designer. Like, Lua actively got me thinking. So Lua's been a huge inspiration. Like, Lua's mainly been active around, like, the Origins scene, like, formally. But Lua's been getting into, like, mod pack stuff and, like, also a card game. Which, like, the card game is quite cool. The card game between friends. It is, like... I appreciate card games even though I do not understand them. Earthbound ROM hacking has been one of my ADHD hyperfixations. I'm glad to see someone else enjoying the game. Yeah, Earthbound's fucking cool. Opinions on archaeology. I like it. I think that it's a nice side content. It shouldn't be like I know Zuma Void complained about it, but it's like, it should be side content. It doesn't need to be main content. Like, it's side content for if you really want to do it. And I think that that's what a lot of Minecraft features are. Like, there's a lot of side content. Any tips for managing pace to prevent burnout? To prevent burnout, I would just take breaks when you can. Like, for me, it's hard for me to take breaks, so I'm not the best person to ask about that. But it's like, just don't try to rush out features. Like, I've been feeling burnout. I've been feeling out burnout within my stuff ever since like BlanketCon and getting into OSRS. Like I just want to have a I'll be having a break after BlanketCon from modding, and I'll be having a break from BlanketCon from like modding after BlanketCon, and yeah, that's an important thing. I just regard it is the game supposed to freeze every time I tab out. I'm not the authority to say that. Any more questions? I will probably answer a few last questions because I know that there's no event going on right now. But I will answer a few last questions to anyone who wants them answered. Maybe like 3 questions. Lewis smells. I agree. You know, we're putting this up for the entire thing. We're putting this up for the entire world to see. Lewis smells. Okay, so what is my opinion on Dimension game design? I don't have opinions. I don't have opinions on that, unfortunately, but yeah, I don't really have opinions on Dimensions. As Garfield once said, you are not immune to propaganda. I really am not. Do you think the general Minecraft sound experience is satisfying or could it be improved? Sound? That's out of my field, but if you were to ask me, I think it's satisfying enough for the general person. For the general person, it's quite nice. I guess like at most they could like I love mud bricks. I love what they're doing with the new sounds in the later updates. Like mud bricks. Mud bricks are a good fucking sound. But yeah, like sound design is not entirely sound design is more so up to is a separate thing. But it does play a hand in game design. Like it's just sound design is something else. Same with art design. What is your process like for game balancing? Balancing is a good question because like we should probably explain what is balancing first. Balancing is basically like tweaking things to make sure that it's fair for like other people.
You guys wanna go to Hex?
So
Yeah, let's go.
basically, I would just get something out there, play test it a bit, and then like balancing takes time as well. So I would like get feedback from people and play it yourself, and then see what feels fair. So that's my opinion on game balance. That's my process on game balancing. Game balancing usually is like a side thing for me instead of like because like if the thing with balancing, if the content doesn't feel good to use, that's more of a problem than if it's balanced. Or not. Because nobody's gonna want to use it. How can you properly balance the interactions between different stages of the game? Up to you. That's a bit of a heavy question for me. I would recommend just like taking time to think about that. Like say if you want something for the early game, it's like if you want something for the early game, like just figure out what you want at each stage of the game. Like I'll bring up my tabletop RPG that I'm working on with Seducer, for example, where it's like it's a Minecraft TTRPG, but like specifically, we wanted the overworld the end of the overworld to signify stage 1. The start of the game was stage 0. Then the end of the Never is stage 2, and then the end of the end is stage 3. So generally we're balancing. Generally having a good goal, having a good thing in mind to like what your stages of the game is a good start. I can't really answer the rest. That's up to you. Joke questions. Thoughts unknown, knave and criminal, Garfield. Yeah. How much early? Yeah, Lua absolutely agrees. I agree with Lua. So, I do not like Garfield. We should cancel him. And I think that's all the questions. I will be off now, and I will get back to playing Animal Crossing on my Nintendo 3DS. That's all the time I have for today. I don't have Animal Crossing, but like, I'm probably just gonna play old school RuneScape for a bit today, and like, just, wow, these are some fireworks. Oh, who's tomatoing me? Fuck you. Fuck you. No, don't join in. Alright, thank you for listening.